is something that we have to forget about who we are in order to remember who we are. That is called, I would say, right, it's a grand, it's very profound design for life on earth. Because let's say if we come here, right, become a human and we remember who we are. Let's say if that's the case, right, you know what will happen? This is too different from anywhere else, right? Because in the non-physical world, everything is, right, it's about love, right? Unconditional love, right? Compassion, right? Harmony, peace, right? And life on earth is almost the opposite, right? So what we would do, let's say if I remember, right? If I don't have a high enough, my consciousness level is not high enough, I will just feel, you know what, I'm not doing this. It's too hard. I'm not ready for this.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, so
I don't like this world.
Right. You're gonna do something to end this life and go back, right? Anything happens. If we feel there's no joy, right? There's no peace. Okay, I'm gonna end it, go back. So it would not become, it will not serve its purpose, right? If we remember. So it has to be this way because life on Earth is extra hard compared with a lot of planets. Because you can have physical life on other planets, you know that, right? Because it's not Earth is not the only planet has life, obviously, right? So there are million planets in the universe, right? Just we don't know, and we also don't know for a reason. Okay?
It's true.
It's a grand design. It has to be so real, otherwise we cannot do this, right? If you know it's a game, then you know, oh, I can sign out anytime. Right? And then this game will not serve its purpose, right? Yes?
Well, I'm definitely encouraged and intrigued to see where your help with your expertise, where you can direct me and help me.
Sure. So I'm going to get to that point, right? So I just want to point it out to everything because this understanding has to be there. Otherwise, it's not going.
It's not going to work.
It will not be effective enough.
Yes.
Right? It's not someone can just come to my office and lay down and say, "Wait, right? I want to feel better."
You have to be in tune.
You have to understand the mechanism, right? The connections. Why we're doing this, right? Why this modality will be able to change people, right? And how it works. The better we understand, right? The more we can do. Right? Not like, oh, don't tell me everything, just make me, just use your magic, right? Change my life.
Yes,
it's not gonna.
My thing. I know my magic is being held back because of me, and I have no one to blame. So I have to work on me, and in order for me to work on me, I have to fix that broken machine in me.
Right. And so let me just tell you, right? Let's get to that point, right? Let me explain why hypnosis, right? What hypnosis does, and also why you are feeling this way. I don't know everything before we do the session, but I can tell you I know the possibilities.
Right.
And it's not going to be very different from what I can tell you, because this is how we chose this life. So we don't come to Earth and just have a peaceful life. Everything is beautiful, everything is smooth, everything is the way that you want, right, life to happen. We are going to have endless challenges. So let's say right after this healing, you feel much better. But I can guarantee you're gonna have other challenges, right? But when we understand why, what happened to us, right, and we can heal ourselves. Right? We don't even need other people. We can heal ourselves. It's very possible, right? As long as you understand what happened. So when the challenges, right? So let's say something happened, right? This happened in your family, but not everyone will become like have negative thoughts. So what happened to you? Why you're different from other people?
Right.
So I can tell you, it's not because you're different. It's something most likely that happened in other lives you had, right? And this is can be
Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me cry.
And so
I seriously sit down. I'm like, where did it go wrong? Where did it change? Something happened, but when?
Right.
Because
So we need to
I
find
couldn't foresee this.
right, and that's again, if we know, then everything becomes easier, right? So we have to see. So this to forget is important for us to really figure out the way. So your one way for you to heal yourself, and then you contacted me, right? Because otherwise you know everything's fine, and then you would not learn this part. So in a way that you made this challenge for yourself, right? For the soul to evolve, right? So because this time you have to change, you don't even have a right option, because otherwise
Right.
you can't move forward, right?
Right.
Something is preventing you from moving forward.
Right.
So what happened in the past? Of course, I don't know what exactly happened, but I know.
But the hypnosis gets to where you. Does the hypnosis get to? How do I don't know.
Okay. So let me explain.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's something that happened that basically that challenge is also a challenge, because there's no difference, right? If that life is on Earth, right? It's the same concept, right? Something that you made this challenge for you to learn something from it, but not every time we can learn. It's not that easy. Otherwise, we wouldn't have reincarnation. Why we can
Right.
see, reincarnation is not a punishment. It's just something that we did not learn, or something new we want to learn, right? Can be that way too. But sometimes it's we missed the lesson. We not only missed the lesson because something dramatic happened, and that happening traumatized the soul. Right? Make you feel, oh, this is almost like a phobia to you.
Right.
See?
Yeah.
Right.
It's scary.
Right. Let's say some people are afraid of snakes. I mean, we all afraid of, but some people just cannot even think about that.
Right.
And or some other animals that we're not afraid of. Let's say cats. Right? Some people are, I'm sure some people are afraid of cats. Right? And this is because something happened in the past, not this. Understand? So that cat maybe somehow made this person really had a big injury, right? Or even caused the death.
Something traumatic with that cat that caused them to fear it. Yes.
Right. So every time this person sees a cat, it's like, no, I'm gonna die,
I understand completely
Right.
what you're saying.
Right. So what happened to you? The trigger is, let's say, your mom's death. That's a trigger. It triggered.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, now I feel this way, but it's the same concept. But we talk about this cat,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Okay.
So you just did not know that's the trigger, right? Because a cat is easy. It's like, oh, I don't know why. When I see this animal, I just don't feel good, right?
Right.
But the person might not know until the person is 20 years old, right? Because
Yeah.
maybe you did not pay attention, but one day it's like became official, right? So this happening in your family, it's something really triggered you. But this trigger, in a way, is also was planned.
It was predestined. It was written already.
Right. So because now you need to learn something from it this life, because in the past you did not learn. You missed it, right? You missed it, and you not only missed it, you got traumatized. That's why you're acting this way. See? So it's the trigger serves its purpose to make you feel not good.
Right.
And
it holds you back.
Right. And then so this time we have to do something, right? If you don't do anything, then life cannot, right, go on, because you can't do much at this point, right? So there's a way, right? So hypnosis, why hypnosis? Hypnosis is not for you to learn something, because the hypnosis itself is not, right, a learning, it's not a class, right? It's not a course. But what a hypnosis can do is for you to learn from what you did not learn that time.
So I see what you're saying.
So you revisit.
It's like peeling back the layers of this. It's just something like that.
Yeah. So basically, you are revisiting that scene. And this time, I'm going to.
You're revisiting the trauma.
Right. And this.
To release it.
Right. But how? Because it seems like we cannot change the past.
Right.
So how we can do this? But of course, this is something from the sessions I did, I learned on my own, right? In a way, right? We can change the past. we can, positive, right? So how? It's not the same way. It's not that you change the history. Like, oh, this happened. Let's say this, right? War happened, but the second war, like let's change it. It did not happen. It's not like that, right? But what we can do is, let's say, right, in that life, it can be thousands of years ago. It doesn't matter, really, right? Because there's no time. So, right, it can be 19th century, but it can be something BC, right? Like 2500 BC. It doesn't matter, right? So we can, because there's no time, so everything's happening, is still happening, right? So everything's dynamic, is still happening. That's why we can do something, right?
It's true. It's very intriguing.
Right? So because we did not learn this, right? I wish I learned this when I was 7.
When I was younger. I wonder how I would have been, how further in life I would be if I was able to know the traumas that had held me back all these years.
Right.
True me would be able to develop and move within this universe a lot differently than what I've been dealing with and going through.
Yes.
Wow.
You learn very fast, I can tell. Everything I said, you not only understand and you bring this to the next level, right? You can apply this to many other things, right? Because that's also the nature of the soul, right? Because we really can do so much more, right? And so one thing is, because we did not learn this, so we can make a lot of mistakes in our life. But that's something I'm really thinking, right? If I can have this opportunity, if people allow me to talk about this, right? And let's say to children, I would love to share what I know today, right? And tell them, look, right? I want you to understand. Right now you have this body, yes, right? But you're not your body. You're not your mind, right? Because you can think, right? You have the mind, but you are the soul, right? You are physical, you are a spiritual being, right? In a physical body to learn these physical lessons. And so this is who you are, right?
Temporarily.
Right, you are much more than you think who you are. And so, right, in order to learn things, we have to have all different kind of experiences. Not just the experiences you like to have, right? And there are a lot of challenges. You will feel, oh, it's not good for me. I don't like it. I don't feel good. But you learn from it, right? Because you don't die, right? So nothing can really hurt you, right? Because if we don't die, it's a game, right? It's a dream, right?
If you know the truth, it can't hurt you.
Right. And the truth can never hurt us, right? But sometimes we don't like to know the truth, right? Because we have fears, because we feel, oh, if I know something is true and this truth might hurt me, but that's not true.
Right, I see what you're saying.
Right. It might sound like something can hurt us, but it's always what is best for us is always what is true for us.
Yes, perfect. Or put that on a shirt. It's very true though. It's an honest truth.
Right, because then there's nothing worse than that, right?
Right.
But when we don't want to admit something which is true, and right, that is something that we don't really feel good about it because we try to hide it.
Right.
And when you're hiding something, it's never a good feeling, right? Because you know that. So let's say if you have a makeup, let's say a lot of makeup, right? So let's say you after this is how I feel. People don't have to agree with me, but let's say if I put a lot of makeup, right? My face maybe looks perfect, or from my point of view, right? But when I meeting with anyone, right? One thing I do know is they look at me, let's say especially someone who doesn't know me, right? Is a new stranger. So they will talk to me, they will do things with me. But I have this feeling, but they don't know my true face.
Right, because they see you with makeup.
Right. So one day if they see that,
Whoa, I didn't know that's how who you really were.
So see, that doesn't make just that feeling, knowing that they can see my true face one day, but that will shock, make them feel, right? They will be shocked or very surprised. So just thinking about that would not make me feel good. So I wouldn't do that because it it would take the joy and peace away from me when I'm doing that.
Well, I'll put on makeup so you won't be scared when you see my real, you see my real face.
So this is just analogy, right? Actually, makeup
Yes.
is not that bad, but right, if it's we are hiding who we really
Yes,
are.
who we really are.
Right.
Yeah, I believe it.
Right.
I'm definitely hiding, and I am the people that I'm surrounded by, friends and a little bit of family. They're not in tune as I am. They don't understand. Due to their own ignorances and limitations, they are not ready for where I'm ready, and so that's why I just feel like I'm seeking help because those around me can't help me to evolve and to change into the better person that I know I can be.
Right. Remember, it doesn't matter what other people say, right? But the help is still from you, from inside. Right? Hypnosis is just a modality, but if you reject this concept, you will not receive the healing.
Right.
So the healing is still
healing is coming from within me.
It's still when you're allowing it. Yeah.
Right.
Of course, you have to allow it, right? You have to accept that concept, and then the healing will be able to occur. And so, no one can heal us, but right is when we. Right. So, for example, if you don't come to me, let's say you just do meditation. If you go deep enough, right? But that's hard, right? I cannot even go that deep. But let's say it's possible. When people go that deep, is right. You're kind of going to that hypnotic state. Because right, hypnotic state is a little bit deeper state than meditative state, right? Because meditation is very good, is to quiet our mind, right? Because when the mind is active, then we are listening to the mind. But the mind is either about the past or about the future.
Okay.
The mind is never about now, right? So when you think about the future, the past is never good.
Right.
Because the past is not, whatever that happened, right? That is not you at this moment. See, but you can believe right now I'm this person who I am is still because of the past. What I did make me who I am, but that's not true. You can create yourself any moment.
Right.
See, right?
That's true.
So that's why the mind cannot do that, right? The mind will say, "Oh, I did this. This happened to me. So see, that's why I'm feeling this way. I'm not feeling well, right?" But can you change your state of being? Of course you can. Why we do meditation?
Right.
Because when the mind is not in the way, the mind is not active, then you can do much more. You can say, "No, that's not me. That's the me in the past. But this me from this moment can be different."
Right.
See? Of course you can. But let's say quit smoking, right? Can someone smoked many years, right? One day and said, "I'm done with this. I want to have a healthier life. So from today, I will not smoke anymore from this moment." The answer is very hard, but can be done, right?
Right.
And actually,
It can be done.
my father, I don't remember, I was a child. He smoked probably more than 10 years. But one day he decided to quit, and he did it.
My father did too. Wow.
So
very true.
it's hard.
Well, my mom threatened him, but yes.
Because he basically he changed himself, right? He told his mind, like, "I'm not gonna think about cigarette, right? And if I have that kind of thoughts, I'm gonna let it go, right?" So he did it. He achieved that. And so let's say any depression, anxiety, trauma, phobia, right, blockage, same way we can heal ourselves. Just it's hard. It's much harder, right?
It is very hard.
And so hypnosis is playing a role that by taking you to the past, to can be a long time ago, and to revisit that scene And then what I can do is not to change what that happened to you. Let's say someone did something horrible to you, and that traumatized you, right? We cannot change that, but what I can do. So this is right. What I can tell you, right? What I will do, right? If we do a session, right? So let's say I find out, oh, this is the cause, the root cause of this trauma, not trauma, your blockage, right? The blockage, and we find out, oh, this is what happened. It's very similar to what happened to you in this life, let's say, right? It can be something you loved very much, right? And died, right? And you couldn't do anything about it, right? I don't know. I don't want to say too much. Just something that because why you went to that particular life is not me, because I wouldn't know which life to take you. I'm not psychic, right? So who took you to that particular life? Because you can have thousands of lives, right? Why that one? Because this is the magic of quantum healing hypnosis. Because when you're in that deep, right, hypnotic state, then your higher self will be able to play the role. So the higher self is you, but it's the best version of you.
Yes, it's taking it out of its hiding spot. It's true. Wow.
So the higher self knows everything about you.
Right.
Everything, right? So the higher self knows exactly where to take you to. So
I'm definitely intrigued.
so then when I see, I can do a lot when you are there, but I wouldn't know where to take you, right? For that purpose. And so the higher self knows and said, okay, so now you're in that life, right? And this is what happened. So it's a perfect, like I said, oh, no wonder, right? So then what we can do is this, let's say it's a someone, right? Or someone tortured you, let's say, right? There's someone, right, in that life, and made you feel miserable. And so I can, let's say, right, that happened already. But, right, when you're in hypnotic state, you are not just this physical body in that life. You are much more, because who went there is not your body went there.
It's your soul.
Right. So it's this soul's energy went there. So I can have a conversation between you, your soul in that life, and the other person who tortured you.
Right.
See? So this is a conversation between the two souls. And I did that many times, right? And it's amazing because this is not something I learned from school, right? I just want to try. I said, let me see what happens, because I want to change, right, that energy. Because let's say trauma, what is trauma? Trauma is a type of negative energy, right? It's not something solid.
Right.
Blockage is not something you can touch, right? It's energy, because everything's energy.
Right.
Yeah. So what can heal energy? Heals energy, right? Not like a pill, right?
Right.
So that's why, right? It has to be energy. Or let's say plant medicine. Plant medicine. Why plant medicine can heal the negative energy is still because the energy of the plant, because the plant is conscious.
Right. It's not polluted.
Right.
It's pure.
Right. So let's say there's a spirit of the plant that is healing you.
Right.
So it's still energy to energy, right? So anyway, right? So I let your soul and talk to this person's soul, right? And this time the conversation is different, right? Is okay. I can tell you, right? At the soul level, you wouldn't. Let's say the person hurt you mentally or physically. Right? Mm-hmm. What you would say to that person, you might say something, why you hurt me, but most likely you will say things like, now I understand, because it's soul to soul. Your soul is not negative. That's not the nature of the soul, right? The soul is made of love, right? So at the soul level, you most likely you will say, now I understand what happened. I can see better about what happened, right? It's all for the learning purpose. So you will say to the other person, so you will say things like, I forgive you. That's what you will say, believe it or not, right? And then how about the other soul? And the other soul will say things like, I'm sorry. I did not mean, right? I know I hurt you. I'm so sorry.
That's where the healing comes into play.
Yes. So see now this trauma, right? The trauma was there, but now the trauma is being healed, being addressed, being right. Yes, because there's something is happening there.
It's not ignored. It's not a band-aid is not put over it.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
So why trauma is because you can say it's being ignored, right? It's not being taken care of, right? It's not.
That's exactly how I handle things. Ignore them. Like traumatic things. Yes.
Right. It doesn't work because it happens for a reason. So something has to happen, right? To change this, not change it, to transform the energy, right? Energy cannot be disappeared, cannot be destroyed or just be disappeared. Energy can only be transformed.
Right.
Because that's how energy works, right? You cannot destroy energy.
No, you can't destroy it.
Right.
You can transform it, you can move it, change it, but you can't destroy it.
Right. And when you ignore, what happens? It will not disappear.
No, it's going to keep resurfacing,
right.
but in different ways if you understand that it's resurfacing.
So you said it in it's a perfect way. I love, I hope all my clients are like you.
Well, you know what? If you really want to heal, for me, I know I Google a lot, but I research because I want to be a better mom. I want to be a better person. I just want to live a better life. And so for me, that's why I said I've been working on my spirituality and evolving, because I just feel like my spirituality is comforting to me. And so to me, to get to the next level in my spirituality, I have to address whatever the blockage is. So when you said blockage, I was like, yes, that is it. I have to address the blockages from wherever they may be to evolve better, because my manifestation, I just know I'm at a plateau and I need to get over that plateau to get into the next level. And it is an ongoing process. It's never just like one session or like one thing that fixes it. You know, it's an ongoing evolution. So that's why at 41, I'm ready.
And you will go to the next level. That's exactly right, the way it will, it is. Because when you have the challenge, that means you're ready for going to an even higher level. You see, it's very rewarding, right? Because if we don't have the challenge, how we can go to the next level, right?
Exactly.
Somehow.
Because you're content.
Right. And you don't have to do much, right? You just, everything's good, right?
If I tried other means of help, right, and they're not really getting to the core of it, I feel like this is something, because let's be honest, when you're in pain, what do? You go to get something that can alleviate that pain. Some pains don't just go away. It's just masked for when you have your period and you have cramps. It's just going to hold you. That pill, the Tylenol, is just going to hold you for a few hours, but the cramps will still be there. So I'm tired of the temporary Band-Aids. I really want to uncover what's going on within me that I can't get to it myself, right? You know, just standing in the mirror talking to myself. So that's why this conversation is like, wow, I'm so excited. I can't even tell you, just because we're on the same level as far as you understand where I'm coming from. Everything you're saying, you understand. I don't feel like I have to explain myself too much.
Yeah, and of course, and this is all I do, and I want to know everything about our life, right? Why people have a certain experience, right? And when they're stuck, right? What is blocking them, right? What is blockage? Blockage actually is the energy that is not flowing. You see?
Yeah.
The energy has one thing that energy cannot do, is to be stagnant. That is not what energy can do. Right. So when we block it, we're not trying to block it, but when we're not expressing ourselves, that also can block the energy. Right. So when you're ignoring it, right? See, and it will get stuck. Right. So the energy cannot go to anywhere.
Whether you fear it or you purposely block it.
Right. It's not always we're aware. We're not aware of, because we never learned this
Yes, it's true. It's true. You don't. You
Right.
don't.
Right.
I mean, I try to talk to my son. He's 13. But at 13, he still doesn't have the mental capacity to understand fully when I say certain things because he's at a 13-year-old mind, head frame, you know, and there's certain things that you will have to go through in this lifetime before you can get to the point where you understand evolution and development and bettering yourself. Now, at maybe 25 years old, he'll be better to understand energy than he would at the age of 13.
Right, but remember, if he doesn't understand it, that is perfect because that is his way of learning everything.
Right.
We cannot hand over things, right? Say, oh, learn this, right? So they have to learn on their own.
Right.
That's their path. That's their purpose, right? To be here. So we cannot do too much for other people because then you take the right away from them, right? Because they have the right to learn on their own.
Right.
See? So when we do that, you know what will happen? When we do too much for other people, usually for family members, you, from the spiritual point of view, right, you are creating some sort of karma. Because it's not worth it. Because
it's not worth it.
Right. And you're just saying, no, I don't want you to go through those challenges, right? I'm gonna take this this part of your life away from you. I give you something that you have nothing to worry, right? You have everything. That is totally not good. Because some people, let's say when I was doing commercial real estate, right, the people have a lot of buildings, right, a lot of properties, and so they say, oh, I give to my children. That is not that good because they have to earn it.
They have to earn it, yeah.
Right. Otherwise, you take the lessons away from them.
We take the experience of learning how to achieve something.
Right. And that will make the soul feel like I'm supposed to learn a lot of things, but I lost those lessons.
No, but it's very true because I know for me, I'm so used to my mother helping me through anything in my life. I became crippled onto her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Dependent, yes. Very dependent. So now that she's gone on, I now oh, wait, where's my training wheels? Where I got to do this on my own. And not that I wasn't before, but the reassurance of her word, yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Keep going.
Yes.
It's mind-blowing. It's weird. It's different because that's not how I was raised.
Right.
And so for my son, I don't want to cripple him, but I know I'm doing that to him too.
Right. And so during the session, we're going to, most likely meet with your mother's soul, right? And see what she has to say about this, right? I think you will be amazed, right? Probably she did this sometimes on purpose, the soul, right? It seems like this just happened that way, but nothing happens by accident, right? Everything happens for a reason, for a spiritual reason. So, right? For example, my mom was very harsh on me when I was a child or teenager. Very harsh. I talked to my sister. I said, do you remember she ever smiled at us? Do you have that memory? She doesn't have. I said, I can't think of one either.
A memory, right.
Right, so one day, I was in I don't know if you know, ayahuasca journey. Psychedelics is a plant medicine, right?
Yes.
Maybe I was in Peru, I don't remember. And so I remember I talked to her, I saw her soul. It's also possible, right? So same kind of, it can be same kind of experience like a hypnosis, right? I want to meet with her soul. So, and I saw, I just know she's with me. It's a knowing.
Yes.
And so I said, I understand everything that you did when I grew up.
You couldn't understand it then, but you understand it now.
Right. I said, but I just wish you were a little more loving, right? And you know what she said, right? The words, the thoughts she put in my mind, right? And she said, don't forget, everything I did was everything you asked for.
Wow.
And I said,
wow.
Of course, because I forgot This is before I came.
Wow.
I made this agreement. I made this contract with her. Please act this way. I want to be strong. I want to be independent.
And she did what you asked of her.
Yes. And
Wow.
when I realized that, right, I said, of course, I love you so much. Yeah.
Isn't that something? Oh my goodness.
Right, because we forgot, because that's the game, the name of the game is we have to forget in order to learn, right?
Yes.
Because how we learn if we remember everything.
It's true. You have to learn. You gotta discover.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Wow.
And I said, wow, I will never ever complain or even feel it's everything is happened.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's so enlightening. Because I could only imagine what feelings and emotions, things that you did out of thinking and feeling what you felt when your mother didn't smile. Right. And so now that you know, it heals so many wounds. Wow.
Right.
Oh my God.
And she did everything for me.
Yeah. Everything that you needed.
Right. And otherwise I wouldn't be this person. I wouldn't be the same person.
Right.
I wouldn't understand so much more what I understand
your
today.
Strengths,
right?
And your tenacity and your ability to be determined and to do certain things. Yes.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't come with a smile.
And it's not just a smile. Actually, she was kind of, like our culture is okay. No, it's just beat me up like every 2 days. I was not listening. I think I was kind of rebellious, right? But I don't remember what I did. I was always crying. I was always, that she was never happy with me.
Because you wanted something from her, but not that she didn't want to give you. She gave you what you needed at that time.
Yes.
But at that time, you weren't evolved enough mentally and spiritually to understand that.
Right.
Until a specific time in your life.
Until much later.
Much later, but at least
right.
I can't imagine. I just don't want to leave this lifetime without knowing.
Right. Exactly. If you feel this way, this is really who you truly are, because this is your purpose. Right? You want to learn everything.
Right.
You want to learn everything you're supposed to learn. You don't want to leave anything for the next life, right?
Right. I was literally looking at my birth chart yesterday.
Yeah.
And reading it over and writing it out. Because I looked at it before, but I didn't really thoroughly read it.
Right.
And I was like blown away. It literally took me, I want to say about 2 hours to really sit down and decipher everything. I was like, wow, look at that, look at that, look at that. No, that's not true, but look at that. And I pulled up my son, and I was like, wow, in his birth chart, he's very independent. And I realized, as a mom, I'm suffocating. I need to allow him to develop in his own way. Right. Because he's very independent. And if I keep suffocating, I'm not going to allow him to be who he's supposed to be.
Yes. Well put. It's right. So you have a very high, realization about a lot of things. I learned that from this conversation.
I know we could talk for hours. I know, but we have a business to tend to.